Greetings once again, heroes and villains. Duuz-Diz-Din, back again with My Hero Academia. Now previously, All Might whips out his newest support item now that he's lost his abilities. A specialized armor suit created by Melissa's Shield from the Two Heroes movie, powered by All Might's superpowered Hercules car, made to help him battle against the ultimate evil. And to particularly throw All for One off, he shines his trademark smile, inspired by his master. And despite All for One knowing that he's being goaded, full on, I know you're playing me, but he rushes in regardless, wanting nothing more than to wipe that smile off of the number one hero's fate. But whereas All for One has regressed, using his last-ditch attempt use of Erie's power, All Might has grown and learned. With the suit built by the daughter of his best friend, and skills and techniques that he's actually picked up from his student. Cables, he uses the techniques of Black Whip from Deku and Sero Cellophane to bind and trap All for One. Electrical Charge Bolt blasts, courtesy of Denki Kaminari, and hard powered up hits with the skills of Shoot Style and Sugarman, courtesy of Sato. While it might not be enough to take down All for One permanently, it's more than enough to really put the number one villain on the rope. But the question is, will All Might hold up long enough to run down All for One's clock, or will he simply be a speed bump in All for One's road to victory? Join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, My Hero Academia, number 397. So close to 400. Trash cleanup. Ooh, I wonder who's calling who trash. I love seeing All Might beat into All for One with that giant robotic boot. It's both silly and hilarious, but awesome. All for One calls, All Might calls out, "I have to say, this feels wrong. Here I am, past the age of 50, beating the tar out of a helpless lad." Oh, nice. All Might thinks to himself, "You harbor a ferocious rage in you that hungers for one for all. That's what I'm exploiting, and it's the only reason this fight is even possible." I have to admit, I do love that All Might has just called that out too. He's just like, I know what I'm doing, but I also know this is incredibly dangerous. The fate that binds the two of us. All Might then calls out, "Any real demon lord would be aghast. Getting whipped by a quirkless man? I mean, really." All Might is throwing that shade. Like, he is really trying to get All for One to just lose himself. And as All for One is being kicked about, All Might thinks, "I'll keep you in this obsessive delirium so you won't be able to tear your eyes from me." All for One then reels back, ready to unleash from his palm Springify plus Brawn Boost plus Air Cannon plus Rivet Stab plus Dark Ball plus Impure Beam. Ready to unleash it all. Just unload all of my projectiles, and a massive blast of just all kinds of quirks just explode and rip through the city, tearing several buildings apart. As you see, I'm guessing All Might just launched through building after building after building. And as All Might finally lands in one last building, he begins to get up, saying, "What a mishmash of a combo." He used Utility Cape, Auto Guard, Dark Shadow. That's cool. So the cape softened the blow. All Might thinks it's proof that I'm pushing his buttons just right. Keep talking, Toshinori. Keep him riled up. Hercules then communicates to All Might. Cape destroyed. Communicated fractures in clavicle and left humerus. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it didn't completely absorb the shock of that strike. All Might calls out, "Set movement assist to max." Ugh. So he's pretty much being held together by the suit itself at this point. The gears whirl and turn in place, allowing All Might to move. And as All for One floats over to where All Might is, he says, "This allows you to fight, you said? You're sorely mistaken, you pathetic, washed up piece of garbage. So you're wearing a trash bag and have lost all perspective? Well, your gadgets are gone once I break them, because those toys cannot go beyond their own limits. All Might thinks to himself, gotta be sure not to rely on them too much. In my time, I've seen far too many heroes who couldn't wield their power after losing their items. Actually can't make out some of the images we're seeing. All Might then calls out, great minds think alike, pal o' mine. Oh wow. And we get a flashback of Nana having beaten down a gang who I guess the younger All Might was facing off against. So this is what first got them on each other's radar. Man, Nana looks so good. Gorgeous lady. Also a thick mommy. Look, I'm just saying. After beating up some thugs, assaulting Toshinori, Nana calls out, really kid? Was that pipe gonna lead you to victory? And their eyes meet. Meanwhile, in the present, All Might strikes out at All For One, slamming his fist into All For One's head, but All For One doesn't budge. He says, no, obviously I didn't fall for your cheap ploy to stall me. I can easily spare the time to clean up trash by the roadside. And as All For One unleashes a blast against All Might, several items fly towards All Might's aid, with All Might calling out, desperate to play it cool, huh? How undignified. And wow, that's the end of the chapter. Jeez. It's a bit jarring because it's just like, okay, I'm really starting to get into this, and it's done. 20 pages, around 20 pages usually will help you kind of get through, but 10 pages, by the time you really start getting into it, it's already over. Sounding like a broken record, but it'll probably be more interesting in the anime. But I am interested to see what else All Might has up its sleeve. Because of course All For One knows the ploy. It's a matter of, does All Might have enough tricks up his sleeve to counter essentially what is All For One's hubris? This age-old rivalry is why it's kind of like the Lex Luthor effect. Lex Luthor is smart, he's brilliant, and if he was thinking clearly, he could easily outplay Superman, and yet he never does. And half the time that's because he's just too up his own butt, too full of himself, and just can't believe that he could be bested despite all of his careful planning. Honestly, the thing I'm looking forward to most is just seeing if there's any other kind of specific system All Might has in play. And, well, just how much he can kind of get knocked around before enough is enough. I mean, will this really be the end of All Might? Because, I mean, it'll be a good final battle. He'll go down swinging. But Sir Night Eyes saw his death. Will this really be it? Or will that thing of twisting fate finally be there? Well, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Does All Might have this, or does All For One have him? I want to hear from you, so like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.